So I'm going to open it up. Ta-da! Yay! Okay. Let's see if we can see it. Okay. So this part of the brain is the cerebrum, and this would be the cortex of the brain also, so cerebrum. You have a very large tract that goes from right to left. It's a commissure. This is all corpus callosum at the top here. There's a little lip at the bottom, and that lip at the bottom is called the fornix. The corpus callosum is surrounds or is the roof of the lateral ventricles, and inside the lateral ventricles there are these blood vessels, and these are some of them right here, that produce the cerebrospinal fluid, and they're called the choroid plexus. And you'll see that that blood vessel comes all the way around these lateral ventricles. And by the way, lateral ventricles are the ventricles 1 and 2, but they don't number them, they just call them lateral. So this comes all the way around, and you can see underneath the fornix there's even more of this choroid plexus, and there's a little opening. So this little opening underneath the fornix, plus this area right here, which is the thalamus, the center raised area is called the intermediate mass, or the massa intermedia of the thalamus. This is all third ventricle. All of this is third ventricle. Now, the third ventricle is connected to the fourth ventricle by the cerebral aqueduct, which is this little region here. That's cerebral aqueduct. And then here is the fourth ventricle right here. And from the fourth ventricle, it goes down and forms a ridge. Let me see if it's better on this side. Yeah, right here. And that's the central canal. And you can kind of see it as I'm scraping away. This is all central canal. And the central canal is going to be into the spinal cord. Okay. So looking at the brain again, so again the corpus callosum, the fornix. At the end of, each end of these has a name. So this is the splenium, this is the genu. Just below the splenium there's a little gray bump, and this is the pineal gland or the pineal body. And the pineal body is actually sitting on top of 2 more bumps. And these 2 bumps, they look like 2 sort of bulging lines from the mid sagittal section like this. So this would be the superior colliculus, and this is the inferior colliculus. And you can also see them from the back. If you pull the cerebellum down, you see them right here. So superior colliculus and the inferior colliculus. And these two, the superior and inferior colliculus, are 2 of 4 bodies called the corpora quadrigemina, or the body of 4 twins. Corpora quadrigemina. So then, looking here again, so once again, here's your thalamus. If you remember, this part was called the epithalamus. Remember that in today's lecture? And then right here is a little region that's called the hypothalamus. And from the hypothalamus, there is a little projection called the infundibulum. And the infundibulum, it's right there, connects the hypothalamus with the pituitary. It directly connects it with the posterior pituitary. This is posterior. This is the anterior pituitary here in the front. Okay? And then again, if you look, this is the area where you would find the cerebral peduncles in here. This is the pons, and then the medulla, and then finally the brainstem. Now there are some other cranial nerves, if I can find them. Oh, okay. I don't know if you can see them underneath. If you lift up the pituitary gland, can you guys see this one right down here? It's underneath the pituitary gland. It's really white. Can you see it? That's the oculomotor nerve. So that's cranial nerve number 3. O, to touch and feel, right? That's oculomotor. Some of you have the trochlear nerve. Here's the trochlear nerve right here. See it? That's the trochlear nerve. And I don't think this one has, some of you may have the vagus nerve down here at the bottom somewhere. This one doesn't have it. Doesn't have it. There's the trochlear one again, right here. And here's the oculomotor right here. See how big it is? That's oculomotor. And then trigeminal is this big one on the outside. This is all trigeminal. Any other questions about the brain? Oh, sorry. Cerebellum. And then this little tree-like thing here is the arbor vitae. Arbor vitae, or tree of life. By the way, do you see this in the dura? This is kind of neat, because remember we said that the dura mater in the brain has two layers. This layer is the periosteal layer, and you can feel it's really hard. This layer is the meningeal layer, and this is a dural sinus. See the opening right there? That's a dural sinus. Some more of it right here. Anything else that you need to know in the brain that I haven't told you? Septum pellucidum is a little clear membrane that separates the two lateral ventricles, and this one does not have a good septum pellucidum for me to show you. The mammillary body, let's see, this is the optic chiasma here. So the mammillary body is right down here. Anything else?
Central aqueduct?
The central aqueduct connects the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle. Its cerebral aqueduct is right here, and then the central canal continues from that. But this is the cerebral aqueduct right here. Is that it? Ready for the eye? Where's the eye? Oh, here it is. Come on out. Since we only have 30 minutes left of class, or 20, have any of you gotten in to see Gladys besides the one group? Okay, looking at our eye. So, if I touch this outer surface of the eye, what am I actually touching? Conjunctiva. This is conjunctiva. So right below the conjunctiva, the next layer right below the conjunctiva would be the cornea. And the cornea is the clear portion, the clear anterior portion of this very hard shell, outer shell called the sclera. So this is all sclera here. There's some muscles up here as well. There's a bunch of muscles on this side. It's all a bunch of muscles. So if I go underneath that and I open it up, then this area that the probe is in right now, I'm touching the inside of the cornea, and I'm in the anterior chamber of the eye. And this dark, sort of smooth-looking muscle, that would be the iris. The actual hole or opening is the pupil, and then this big thing around the outside is the ciliary muscle. This is all ciliary muscle. The lens is right here. There's the lens right here. And if you look on the inside, it looks almost like an abalone shell. This layer, and you can actually move it if you put your probe against it and move it. This is all choroid, it's the vascular layer. And then this stuff that's all bunched up here, sort of gray and gnarly looking, that would be the retina. If you follow that retina to where it's attached, which is right here, coming out of there, if we were to remove this, I'm not sure that I can. See if I can do it. Yeah.
In the handbook, it doesn't necessarily say pupil, so should we just refer to that as the anterior chamber?
What about the pupil?
It's not labeled in the handbook, so would that be considered the anterior chamber?
The anterior chamber is the area inside. The pupil is just the hole in the eye. Here it is. So see what I've got, this little hard thing I was trying to find? I found it. Right here, that's your optic nerve. See it right there? That's the optic nerve. It's very, very hard, coming out of the back. And that's going to go, if you were to continue to sort of pick at it back here, if you just kept picking at it, you would see that that's going to go in, and that's going to go in at the point of the eye called the blind spot. And the blind spot is also known as the optic disc. And it's that point, it's going to be exactly in the same spot. You can see it when I pull on it here. It's exactly in the same spot as that where the retina is attached. Because it's actually that... Am I off camera? Oh, sorry. It's exactly at the spot where the retina is attached. This is the inside. Here's the outside. So the optic nerve, the blood vessels, and everything emanate from that part of the eye. And so it's called the blind spot because there are no cones or rods at that spot. Okay? So there's nothing there. The actual, it asks you for the macula lutea. You know, you guys, I just don't know how you would see the macula lutea, but it's straight back. It's straight back. It's the visual axis of the eye directly going back, but it's definitely not where the blind spot is. It's above it. Okay? That's it. Anything else? Who's going to get an A on the test? Let me hear it. Thank you. All right, thanks you guys.